Hey folks, this is Gene from Regular Guy Mountain Biking, and today I've got my buddy Brian Kennedy from BK-XC, and we're going to be talking about mountain bikes, obviously, because we love mountain bikes, but we're going to talk about some of the bikes we like the most, maybe some that we had some different opinions with and things like that, but we're going to be talking about mountain bikes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, folks, once again, Gene and Brian are talking about mountain bikes. Tonight, specifically on Bike Chat, we want to talk about bikes. Probably we'll start with the bikes we like the most. Now, I got one in mind that I know I want to talk about, but I'm gonna. This is our first one over here, so I'm gonna do the gentleman type thing over here and send it over to my buddy Brian. Tell me, Brian, what is your favorite bike you've ridden?
So, sentimentally, my Yeti SB66 Carbon. That was unceremoniously stolen from me a few weeks ago. As you know, viewers of my channel know, left my garage door open. A couple bikes walked out, my mountain bike and my road bike. It sucked. But man, that bike was that was the first real mountain bike that I had. And I've ridden other good mountain bikes before that. Like I had this kind of spiritual experience at Outer Bike in Moab about 5 years ago when I rode that Blur LTC, and it was like the first real bike I ever rode. And I was like, oh my God, when you pedal, it moves, and it's quick, it's fast, and that kind of sent me on this whole journey of $6,000 mountain bikes. But my Yeti SB66, it was black on black. I'll send a picture to you so we can put it up right here. And that was the bike that it was getting close to retirement. It probably had 3,000 miles on it over 4 years, and I was ready after demoing all these bikes this year. I was kind of ready to make the move and get a new bike. I wasn't ready to do it so soon. I really wanted to retire that thing and put it on my wall too. I was going to take it off the frame and put it on my wall, and that just sucks. I know it does, but maybe one day I'll find one at a swap meet or 20 years later. So. And it had a name, Balerion the Black Dread. Oh. If you're into A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, that was a dragon that one of the guys rode in on to conquer Westeros.
This is really sentimental to you, holy.
It really is. It really is. So how about you?
Well, first of all, I mean, that's really surprising because, I mean, I watch a lot of your videos, obviously. I mean, we're buddies. I love watching you ride your bike. And that's not that old a bike, but you ride pretty damn good. You're like in really, I mean, I'm not trying to be your best buddy, but you've been doing this not for ages, but you look damn good out there on the bike. In those videos, you're riding some pretty tough stuff. So I mean, I got some way older bikes and stuff like that, and but let me tell you, man, you're really killing it, and that's awesome.
I know. It's only been about 5 years or maybe 6 years since I've been into it, and really just was a big couch potato before this, into comic books and movies and video games, and really did nothing athletic. And me and my brother pretty much spurred us to do this. He's like, hey man, we got to get in shape. It's not like I've ever been out of shape, but
I hear you.
Like looks wise, but physically, very out of shape. So that first time we rode together up that hill and almost puked, it was and then we just kept doing it. That's the thing. You just keep doing it, and we got better and better, and really just doing it at least once a week, probably for 6 years. And
that's awesome.
Better and better.
All right, so let me see. Well, okay, so I like to do cross country and I like to do downhill. So I've got two bikes, only because each one kind of got me into the different style. So the first one, and I gotta find, I think it was a GT Backwood, okay? Same thing. I got to find an old picture. Google will have it someplace.
Yeah.
The main reason why is because that was my get into the sport bike. But just like you, getting going, I saw a commercial for cross country, mountain biking on TV. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm going to do that. Look how much fun everybody's having. I'm going to have fun too. And it's going to be so easy. Holy Christ. I took that bike out, dude. I went with some friends and went over to Way Yonder with some people that knew how to really ride. And I just turned green. Dude. So I so remember that bike. Yes. And then I was just about ready to puke. But I wasn't ready to puke yet, but to put me over the edge, someone said, oh, this guy needs something. So he gave me one of those goo things, which now, I'm going to do a review later on gluten-free food and stuff like that, blah, 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 whatever. But I had one of those That did it. Because goo is great as a preemptive strike. Like even says on the thing, like 45 minutes before, or whatever it is. Like if you read you don't, when you're green, that's not the time.
Don't add fuel to the fire.
Oh, dude, I was just like, luckily my buddy Bill was with me, and he just kind of crutched me back, because I was just, but still, that bike, I put the, remember the bar ends?
Yes.
So I had to, all the little mods I could have to make me feel like a mountain biker. It was cool. I only just ended up hitting trees and getting stuck with the damn things, but that was my first one. Now for downhill, the one I fell in love with the most, I had a Cannondale Gemini 2000. It was red. This is the one that had what was the fork I had on that thing? Anyway, it had the double crown fork on it, and it just was so cool. And I have a couple pictures of it I'll put up, because I love that bike. And same thing, I tried to find it once, but I found like different colors of it, and one day I'll find it again. But it's like one of those things where, okay, if I find it, I still gotta, well, obviously I gotta buy it, and I'm like, well, I kind of need to put money on something. Do I want to buy this thing I'm going to hang on the wall like you wanted to do with your Yeti? You don't have to buy it. You had it, but I don't know if I want to go buy it to just not ever use it,
Exactly.
But those were probably my, I mean, like I said, you had one bike video I watched, and you were saying, like, you were riding and saying, because you've tested a hell of a lot of bikes. It's freaking awesome.
I really have. It's been great, yeah.
And one of the things you said was, like, all these bikes kind of ride good now. So I haven't really had a crappy bike, but I've had some bikes that rode better than others. But like, have you ever had one that you're just kind of like,
Well, yeah, it's when you first start out, right? It's always that REI level bike almost, it's above Walmart, it's above Target. Mm-hmm. It's probably not bike shop. It's about cheap bike shop level bike, where it's like, they're good, but really, what percentage of people actually ride the hell out of those things? So they're really not meant. They're just meant for a girlfriend bike or a buddy bike to tag along. So I had a Cannondale F4, I believe it was.
Okay.
And it had a front shock on it, but the shock was in like the head tube.
Oh, I had with the head shock.
At the top of it. Exactly.
I had one of those. Yeah.
And I rode it with my uncle. He kind of was the one who kind of got me into mountain biking, and the fork would just get blown out. And it's like, I wasn't doing anything crazy back then either. I was we were doing fire roads basically back then.
Yeah.
And I would go in to get it out, and all the oil or whatever leaked out.
That's too bad.
I know. And it happened like 3 times. And this was I don't know if it's very shameful or not, but I did the REI return. I said, you know what? This thing, it's done this 3 times. I'm returning it. And I got my money back. And I've never done anything like that before, but I was like, I feel like if you guys are going to stand by your products and have that bulletproof return, I'm going to use it, and I'm going to get a better bike.
Well, good. But you know what? That's if they're going to do that and they're going to offer it, you should do it. I had a Cannondale Super V, yellow, teal green, yellow, like alarm green kind of, with the head shock on there, and it seemed to work okay. But that was a higher end.
Yes.
Exactly. Let's kind of not say high. You know what I'm saying? Like not like pro, but a decent bike. That thing worked pretty good. I ended up selling it to a buddy of mine. He liked it. They were riding it for a while. The Super V, that was good. But that was V brake time. Remember V brakes? Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. And you go through a puddle, and all of a sudden you're like, oh crap! Yeah, no more brakes. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. How about you folks watching this video? Put some in the comments. How many any bikes that you liked or didn't like? Like I said, I haven't really had any that I didn't like that much, But I had a ton of bikes. I used to run that shop, and I had all these these big hits and all these different bikes, and it was fun to play around with them. It was a good time. It's nice to get on some different kind of bikes. So like you said, you're trying now. You haven't told nobody yet. You haven't told me either, but you've got a surprise coming up for us, don't you?
Big secret, man. I ordered a new bike after all these trials and tribulations, having my bike stolen, and I've ridden all these great bikes, and really, the videos show that it's
Yeah.
between the Bronson and the Tracer. Those were the two
Mm-hmm.
really fantastic bikes that I've ridden. And
Right.
I rode the Tracer before I ordered my bike. So
Mm-hmm.
there's still a bit of mystery
Mm-hmm.
after all my gushing about all these different bikes. But
Right.
can't wait. I'm just checking my order. They have to build it. They have to get it. And
Oh,
it can
really?
take weeks. So, yeah, I was even
Wow.
talking to a guy who said, oh, I wanted to order a new high tower. And they said it'd be 5 to 6 weeks. And it's like, that bike's been out for a while. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of how it works. And actually, my video that came out on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
I rode the Intense Spider,
Mm-hmm.
and I almost think it was better than the Tracer
Really?
because it had the shorter travel,
Mm-hmm.
but it was faster. I could feel the lightness. I could feel how quick it was. And I'm still new to this, riding all these bikes, and a lot of me feels like it's a lot of marketing BS where it's like, oh, it's slacker head
Yeah.
tube and this angle
Yeah.
and this thing. But yesterday when I rode that
Mm-hmm.
bike and it was the shorter travel, it was lighter. I was buying into it. I was like,
Really?
okay, I get that why they have a little bit higher travel and a little less travel,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like my butt is starting to feel the bike, more
Right.
and more. I'll be able to articulate more
Uh-huh.
and more how it feels.
Well, that's cool. I mean, because every time you watch one of these videos, everybody says climbs like a goat and descends like. I mean, every freaking bike
It's all
apparently
the
is
same.
a descendant of a goat because every bike. But I went and bought. I was looking at an Intense. Because Jensen had a couple built for them, pretty good deals, and it really was a sweet looking bike. But the local bike shop, I went with a Trek. We all joke because all of us have Treks around here because of that damn Trek card.
What's that? I've never heard of it.
It's Trek's. I don't got it sitting over here. Not on my wallet with me. It's Trek's credit card.
Oh, okay.
Anybody with a pulse can get like way more money than they should allow to have on that damn card.
Yeah.
So
like GMAC and like finance, they make more money off of the financing than the cars themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good rack.
Yeah, I got the card, and that's how all my buddies. So I went and got a Remedy 8, 2016. Trust me, I like it. But the thing was, I had been out for like a good 8 to 10 years. Yeah, kids, house, whatever, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So when I started getting back in it, I had a Cannondale Jekyll that I liked a lot.
Yeah.
That ranks up there on one of those bikes that I like a
yeah.
lot. And I was just dogging it, and I couldn't get going. And I'm like, oh, it must be the bike, can't be my fat ass. No, it's got to be the bike, And then I got this Remedy, and I was still sucking it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I should have got a large,
The size.
Can't
it's
be
the
the
size.
can't be the medium. I
The
should have got a
fit,
yeah. Then finally I started riding more. I got in a little bit better shape. I'm still got to get going, but like you said, you start because there's so much technology and 27 something tire this, and then you can adjust this. My buddy Joe, like he's a fanatic when it comes to the sag. But he really feels a difference, and he rides great. When he goes to these rock gardens and he clears them all, and he really spends the time. And then if you like look at some of these other guys, what's the other
GMBN.
GM? They have a good thing on sag, setting the sag. I'll try to make sure there's links for all this stuff all over the place.
I think it's essential because I was actually talking to the owner of worldwidecyclery.com, Jeff. It's like an online store. It's pretty damn good. I'm going to start doing some stuff with them and having some products on my channel. But he was talking, and I believe it 100% that these bikes are all very similar, and it's all about the suspension setup.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You've got these components on there and getting it dialed in to how you like it to feel, how you like it to ride. I mean, really, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. It almost comes down to looks. Everything is so high tier. If you're spending that $5,000, $6,000 on everything, you've got the nice components. Everything is on there.
Well,
but it's about the looks and the brand and the warranty and the feel. And Yeti goes and rides in Nepal, and it's awesome. So there's that, too.
Well, because honestly, to your point, that's a really good point right there. Take the frame out of the equation. What do you got? You've either got SRAM or you've got Shimano drivetrain. They don't make a special SRAM or a special Shimano drivetrain for that bike unless you're some super pro. Guys like us, it's out of the box. So so there's your drivetrain. That's it. Brakes. I mean, so all the components are going to be stock. The only thing that's custom or special is the frame. Sometimes they'll. I know Trek did some fine tuning with the rear shock on the last couple of bikes that they came out with to make it special for them.
Yeah.
But that's really it. But the fork is the fork.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so other than the frame, that's it. And like you said, spend more money, you get into better components. But
Yep.
that anybody could, you know what I'm saying, dude? Anyone, you know? So you could even spend less money, and then if you wanted to, go buy those components.
Exactly.
So I don't know, but I think you're right. It's all about stuff like that. But anyway, folks, like we said, those were some of the bikes that we liked. We'll get some pictures up and things like that. Tell us what bikes you liked a lot. Maybe some things you didn't like about some of your bikes. We always love your comments. This is the first episode of our bike chat over here with my buddy Brian. We'll do more of these little by little. We'll get some different people on here and there and have some fun. But Brian, thanks a lot for joining me tonight.
Hey, thanks, Gene. That was a blast.
Yeah, it was cool. This is good stuff. And the only reason why we got to cut it now is because I know you and you know we'll just keep talking all night long. And everyone will love it to be moving to the next video anyways.
Yep.
All right. Have a good night, buddy, and I'll catch up with you later on.
See you later.